Hello, my dear crafters and knitters and crocheters and everybody who love to things with the hands. Today is very rainy and miserable weather in England, but here I have a real rainbow for you. This is my last week's work here, and this is socks, and as you see I have a lot of socks here, different type of heels, different type of yarn, and I came to you to talk about socks. I will show you some little tutorial. We will do this sock. I filmed some steps. It will not be like stitch by stitch tutorial, but before coming and showing you some exact steps, I need to talk to you about things what you need to know before you knit your pair of socks. It's mostly probably for beginners, but if you done socks already, maybe it will be something different here for you as well. I will do my best, guys, and I will follow my little list I've done here, and we will start about choice of yarn for socks. Not everybody person who knit knows that you can't knit socks with any yarn you use for other garments, and basically what the rule of choosing yarn for socks, it's usually 4-ply yarn. I think in America it calls socks yarn or lace yarn. 4-ply it's in English here in England. Then I will show you, let me see if I prepare everything. I have so many things here with me. Bear with me, let me see if I have all my labels here. I have a lot of my labels here, but I think the better idea when I do I will go one by one, and we will do some little travel to the different sock yarns here, which I found here in England in my favorite shop, and I will tell you about each of it and which I like about it, which I didn't like, and I'll tell you about my favorites. But basic rule in this 4-ply yarn, you need to have at least 75% of wool. It can be different types of wool, or sometimes it's a mix, but at least 20-25%. It needs to be synthetic material like nylon. Like here you have, I don't know if you can see, 75% wool, 25% nylon. Opal is the same, 75 virgin wool, 25 polyamide, which is the same thing. And this one, let me see where here we found, yes, superwash wool, 25 polyamide. And basically this is the secret, because if you do it with a pure wool, you will have holes just when you start to use them. Then special yarn for socks need to contain 25% at least of synthetic fiber for durability and elasticity. Now, another thing which I wanted to say about yarn choice. Look, here I have a little baby socks. As babies don't need durability because they don't walk, then baby socks you can do with any type of yarn you have. These socks are made with Charisma drops. It's 100% wool, and this very much thicker yarn. If you consider yarn for socks, if you see just by stitches, and if it's baby socks, You can use any yarn, and it can be thicker yarn. This yarn is just a mix of some lovely Italian mix. I think I've got it from Cone. I made one. This is I use another type of heel here, and this another little sock which wasn't done with the sock yarns, and that's because you don't need it for babies. Next, needles. My favorites are these ones, but it's just because I use this brand for everything I need and I like it. And for socks, I just bought 2 pairs of these very thin needles. I use 2 millimeters because my knitting is loose, and it's about your tension, and this will be next thing we'll talk about. Then needles, you can use these needles, or you can use that socks needles, which is 5 needles double pointed. It doesn't matter actually, that because the knitting process is absolutely the same, and it's all about a question about what you like more. It's your personal choice and your personal preferences. I like to use magic loop technique, that's why I use circular needles. If you opt for circular needles, make sure that they are at least 80 centimeters long, because you will not able to use it if it's shorter. Sometimes they are 60 centimeters. If you buy circular needles of 80 centimeters, you will be able to knit almost everything with them. That's what I would recommend you. If you used to do socks needles, it's absolutely all right. Finish. What else we need to use? Many times we use markers. I prefer that small ones, and I like to mark every 20 rows in my socks. For example, when I do, I count here, cuff I count by myself, but then I mark every 20 rows when I start heel, and then especially here, sometimes I have a lot of rows here, then I mark every 20. You can mark every 10. Then basically this is another thing you will need for knitting your socks, stitch markers. And if you don't, you can always use a little piece of yarn. You just, let me show you. Piece of yarn, make a little knot, and then you can put it on your needle and use it as a marker. It's not a problem at all. Then little scissors, and you will need to use the needle, tapestry needle. Here I am. Here's my little needle thing. I don't know what you call it. Then tapestry needles. I have 2 sizes. This is a huge size tapestry needle. I usually use it for bigger projects because it's very thick and big. But for socks, I like to use this. If you see, it's not a very big size, but it's have a big eye here, and the point is not very sharp. And I just use it for sew my socks here in this point, which we will finish with a, I think, mattress stitch it calls. Then this is my little scissors I use. Sometimes I like to break yarn like this because it just stay there inside. I don't know how to explain you, but another thing. Right, now we need to speak about tension. That's why you see many people don't understand that it doesn't exist like perfect recipe for your knitted piece. It's many things depend of you and your way of knitting. Then let's talk about tension, because any knitting project start with a math. We need to make a swatch, we need to see our tension, we need to know our gauge, and then we measure our food, and just after this we do all math. We count everything we need, and I will explain you what exactly we will do when we need a proper sock. But it's very important to have a very nice and beautiful project in the final, which will fit, which person will use and be happy with it. It's always starting with a lot of counting. Then I have a little video on my channel about how you do your swatch and how you count your gauge. Need a little piece of fabric, and then you wash it, and when you block and dry it, and then you count. And my gauge is 28 stitches in 10 centimeters with needles 2 millimeters. Every yarn have little chart which show the swatch almost always. Then, for example, for this yarn they recommend me needles 3.25 millimeters. If I do these needles, I will have just holes. Then with my 2 millimeter needles I have the same 28 stitches by swatch by 10 centimeters. Then you need to see is your how is your tension is, and then after this you will follow with your own project. If you need a smaller needles, you take smaller needles, and then you just look. And you know, some people like when it's quite tight, some people don't like tight knitting, and it's all about you. Project is yours. I just want to show to teach you to create your own pieces, not repeat by me, because you know, if you repeat and then your sock can be bigger or smaller, and then you will say, oh, your tutorial is not right and it's rubbish. And what I want to teach you to create your own pieces, to know how you count your own size, to know and understand what are you doing. And then when you do your swatch and count your tension, you will start make measurements and make counting. Then for my tension, which is 28 stitches in 10 centimeters, which means in 1 centimeter I have 2.8 stitches. Then I do all these countings. For my foot, for example, which I have the same measurements on foot and leg part, both are 23 centimeters. Then I know more or less how many stitches I need to cast on for my size. For my partner, he has very funny foot. He has very small calf and bigger foot. This the same thing. You need to do some adjustments when you do. Then everything is some kind of brain activity. It's not will work if you just want to open tutorial and follow it without doing any work for yourself, any math and any effort. Then project is yours. I will show you how I do this. It doesn't mean that everybody needs to do this the way I do it. I just share with you my experience, and I hope that it can be helpful for you. Then we talk about tension. Next one is a much more interesting. It's the colors. Then yarn for socks is quite interesting because it comes with this self-pattern yarns. I have this sock which is it's very bright color. It's neon orange color, but in my camera it doesn't look very nice, but believe me, it's very nice and bright color. You can use plain color, or you can use all these yarns, self-pattern I call them, or self-striped. This is how it looks, and it's just some special dye apply on this yarn, and then it creates a pattern when you just do some ordinary stockinette stitch, which I think it's amazing. And many brands have series and a series created by different designers, and you can choose whatever you wish. It's so many options. And another thing what I was wanted to talk with you, because I like plain socks. I don't like very much use pattern on socks, because first, if you use it with some boots, or if you use it inside of your footwear, you don't want nothing disturbing you, right? That's why I think the plain stockinette stitch is just the best option for woolly socks. And this type of wool I use for the socks for winter, because some brands have socks with a cotton as well, which you use for spring, and more they are more fresh. But about colors, I just love to use these self pattern colors or plain colors, and I don't do patterns. I can explain you later about type of patterns you can use on socks. Some people like to use lace patterns, some people do some nice braids, but I don't do this. Then I'm talking about me here. Then next thing, we will go to anatomy of the sock. Now let me take one pair. Which one we will use? This one looks quite nice. Let me just take this off and talk about what exactly we need to know when we knit a pair of socks. And I knit socks from calf down. Some people knit socks from toe up. It's up to you. It's a lot of tutorials. I probably will do another one. I've done both of them, but I prefer to do them from calf down. I think this sock is a little bit dark. Let me take this giant one. Nicer. Right. Then anatomy of the sock. We just have here cuff, then we have leg, then we have part of heel, then we have part of foot, and then we have part of toes. And all this is different parts which you do and use different techniques for this. And I will just tell you how I used to do this. I always use 2x2 rib stitch for my socks, and I use very specific cast on method to make it absolutely elastic. If you see, because your calf need to be elastic enough for you to put foot in, and then it still need to be good on your ankle. Calf, which is, as you see, very elastic, and then it's get back in kind of zigzag mode, you see. And I'll show you in the next video how I cast on this calf. I have my own rule, because I've done different things. For example, these socks are quite short, because person asked me to make short socks. If you see, they are like really short. But in general, I have my own rule that from calf to the start of the heel, I try to do at least 50 rows. And then you can decide if you do, for example, 20 rows of the calf and 30 rows of the leg. I think here I've done 25 of the calf and 25 of leg. I think this is ideal size, but if you want to do your own size. You put your foot on the floor and you measure your distance from the floor to the desirable height of your sock, and then from this distance you take 5 centimeters off, because usually this part of the heel will be 5 centimeters or 2 inches. This is another way how you can measure the height of your sock. And then when you work from here, you just can measure it on the way and on as you go. That's why I like to do this way, because you can always try your sock on when you work on it, especially if you use the circular needles and do the magic loop. After this, we're doing heel. I have different types of heels here with me, and I can show you a couple of my favorites, which I always use. This one I tried and I just didn't like it very much. This is a boomerang heel. This is how it looks. I was thinking that it's a best option when you use stripes, but I don't know why. I probably will do more and see, but I didn't enjoy, maybe because of the yarn, because this wasn't the best yarn I used. But this is a boomerang, and bear with me because I probably don't know the names in English of these heels. This is one of my favorite heels, and this one we will do on the next tutorial. They call it strong. I don't know, maybe it has another name. I just love this heel because it's very easy to do. You just work with the increases here, and then you do the gusset part, and then you continue working. You don't need to pick up any stitches. This is the most comfortable part of this type of heel. And another heel here, very popular as well. We call it French heel, and you go to the back part, which is a flap of the heel, and then you do gusset, and then you just do the creases. It's another type of heel which I love to do. I don't do square heel. I just done square heel on my baby socks in another tutorial. You see, I think square heel is perfect for very small sizes, but for adults I like this type of heel because it's kind of round and anatomical. You see, this one and this. And yes, basically these two my favorite types of heels. When we finish heel, we just continue straight, and if you need to make some adjustments, you probably do them on this step. For example, if your ankle is very straight, you need to add more stitches here, and you just do it some certain way. And then in the final, you do your toes part, which usually like 4 centimeters. And depending on how many stitches I have some little algorithm. I usually do my decreases. First you start decreases in every second row, and you do this for 4 or 5 times. I think in the bigger sizes I do 5 times. I do it in every second row, and then the rest I do in every decrease in every round, every row, till I have 12 or 10 stitches here on top, and then I just sew it with a mattress sew. And that's basically what I wanted to tell you about socks anatomy. Right, now I want to talk a little bit of each of these pair, and about yarn and how I used it, what yarn I used, and what I liked about it, what I didn't, and which are my favorites. Then we started from the last place, and What I've done, I basically decided to go into my favorite shop. I'm in the UK, in Brighton, and you see, I'm in Brighton, and I just decided to buy like a couple of balls of each yarn they have available on the site, maybe to try, yeah. And I bought all these yarns on Wool Warehouse side. They have a huge range of yarns, and they have a lot of drops yarn, which is very affordable and very high, good quality yarn, which I love. Then I've done a couple of balls, and then I made the socks of each, and now I will talk to you about them. First was this Stylecraft yarn. This was the design series of Pride. I've got 2 balls of this. One was like Be Yourself or something, with a slightly smaller stripes. This one is the larger stripes, and this color calls Be Bold 1017, and it's supposed to be like larger stripes. I didn't do this yet, and why? I'll tell you why. By the way, all sock yarns are done with a superwash wool, which means you can wash them in a machine with 40 degrees, which is marvelous, I think. And yes, this was Stylecraft, Show Your Pride. And what I can say about this yarn, I found it very thin, and I done this sock and this sock and the same needles, and the same person, it was me, but my tension was very different, and the yarn wasn't the same thickness. It has some little pieces of really thin, and then some thick. Then it wasn't very consistent. And as you see, my socks become not very big. Like they get smaller size, which I expected them to be with my tension, because usually I know my tension for 2mm needles and 4-ply yarn. And on touch, I didn't like it very much. I know maybe they will hate me doing this, but I don't think so much people watching me. But this yarn, this was made in Turkey, I think. Yes, made for Stylecraft under license in Turkey. Then this yarn I probably will not buy again. I didn't even start my second ball. These 2 pairs I've got from 100 grams ball of yarn. Then it's quite lot of yarn. Like, it's not lot, it's basically you need to put more stitches because it's getting small, and with this type of heel, this one become very small and very short as well. This, you see, I used another type of heel. I used to use this heel if I do contrasting color, which I will show you probably next. Then that's basically is my least favorite, and I can't say you that I'm in love with this, because I have better options, and then we will go for them. My second place from the back is opal. Is this? I probably will change my mind, because people say that unique colors are a little bit different, and I don't know, maybe it's because of the color of the dye. It wasn't very perfect. My stitches wasn't come perfect as they usually do, and I didn't find it so soft like other ones, but it's still very good quality yarn. I had a one little knot on a 100 grams ball. This was the label of this yarn. They have colorfuls, and I want to try colorfuls series because they have some nice ones like painters and like Van Gogh and something. And this is 25 virgin wool, polyamide 25%, and we have here, where is it? 425 meters by 100 gram. This is not very thin. This quite nice thickness yarn, and this is neon color. And from 100 grams, I've made this. I think it's kind of 4-5 British size socks, and I've done as well what you do when you have a lot of yarn rest. I've done these mittens. They are perfect size for my hands. I've done them the same tutorial I have. I will, if you want, I will explain you. If you just leave comments if you want to a little explanation about how I've done mittens, but I just had the rest of this yarn, and look, I still have all of this. Then basically 100 grams is more than enough for you to make pair of sock and mittens, and this would be perfect present for somebody for Christmas, I think. Right, let's go to the next opal. I just get one ball to try. These ones, I forgot about them. This was the same style craft thing, the yarn, and I don't know why, if it's about the color, this quality was a little bit better, and I really enjoy the this cute pattern. And this is color shade 3116 stride, and I like this very much. As you see, the sections are quite big here, and what happened with this kind of yarn, look what I have here, because I wanted to match all patterns, and then when I finish one sock I need to take all this out to come to the start of the section to start with the same. And this I have still. Attention, I've done mittens for this one as well, and here I had the same thing. I wanted to match them perfectly because I am a perfectionist, and here I needed to take out and see the sections and everything, and to match, you see. And I really enjoy this yarn, this pattern, these colors, but as I say, quality, I'm not sure. Then if you like this, you can get this yarn on that shop I've talked to you about. Right, this is my second favorite. This was this yarn here, West Yorkshire Spinner's Signature 4-ply. Perfect for socks. Worms. I don't know what it means, guys. Can you read this? Mum collection. Red shirt spun in Britain. Lovely. Then I think this one is a seascape shade, made in Yorkshire, UK. And this one is wood pigeon. And both of them are 70% wool, 25 nylon, 4-plies, 400 meters to 100 gram balls, 28 stitches supposed to be the gauge, and yes, I think it's washable in 30 degrees. I think you can wash them in machine, but do not tumble dry. And I just love this. What I can say, it was absolute joy and pleasure to work with this yarn. And as you see, this is the sock from men's size sock. This is the 7/8 British side, and I love the color. It's quite natural and nice, and it was absolute pleasure, I'm telling you. If you see, all stitches are getting so perfectly, and shade is very beautiful, and I think size didn't change after washing. When you wash, color is not peeling so much. By the way, neon opal color get all out when I just put in water become all yellow. Then don't wash it with light colors because it can ruin it. Then what I can say, this is the very, very nice yarn if you want to buy some yarn, and it works. It's all these yarn are going like a little bit more expensive, but they all are kind of the same range of price. They all are under £10 for the bowl, depending of colors. Some of them, next brand I will show you, some of them are a little bit more expensive, but in general, you know, I think it's all right. Price is all right on this shop, which I'm telling you. They don't have affiliate program, then you know, I'm just sharing my personal opinion, and I have a lot of experience, and you know, you can believe me. If you think I'm authority, all right. If you don't, it's all right as well for me. I just want to help you, but I'm telling you, if you buy this yarn for your first pair or whatever, if you've experienced, this is just a wonderful yarn for socks. With these socks, let me show. I had all of this still from 100 grams. I didn't weight it yet, but I think I'm waiting for some unicolor, and I will do one more pair, and I will combine with some gray color, probably this one, and I think it will be another pair of socks for even male size will be even. Then I want to say that this kind of, you know, lot of yarn here, and this I've got from second pair, and this is a big socks. It's like 9 or 10 British size, and I still have this, and that's why I ordered another unicolor yarn from Drops, another one, and I probably will say you about that later when I receive and use it. But this is what I've got. Quite good use of the yarn, you know. And probably with one ball you can easily make 3 socks. Or like me, if I do another socks with a different color. And if you're interested to know, just subscribe to channel and follow new videos, because let's do it together. And right, this was a Yorkshire spinners, and now is my favorite, my winner, and I am absolutely in love with this yarn, and it's the most famous one, Regia. I don't know, guys, how you pronounce this right. We call it Regia. This how the packaging is. I divide it in two. I'll say you why, because this how like it's supposed to look. I don't know if it looks the same or not really, but what I want to say about this yarn, this is I've got two balls. I've got them from Amazon, and it was a little bit more expensive than on a wool warehouse. But I was making a little short. I don't know if you saw it. When you see one is looking thinner than another, and I was saying that I will tell you if I got some difference. One of them is made in Italy. These socks made in Italy, and this is made in Romania. And these look apparently a little bit thicker, but I didn't see any difference on when I was walking. But what I can say you by the touching the final product, that this Italian one is a little bit softer, and I think a little more fluffier. As you see, I have kind of things like which my hair have more fibers like going out and make it fluffy, and these ones doesn't have it. It's, I think, touching it, it's this Romanian one is a little bit less soft, I should say, but they are delicious, both of them, and no doubt is one of the best yarns for socks, and they have absolutely amazing range of these self-pattern colors. Then you can choose like tutti frutti and some ground colors, like, you know, and forest colors, whatever you want, mountains, and just go there and have fun. And this is my favorite yarn for sock. And a little explanation why this looks like this, because every ball when I receive, I like to wind it and divide in two. Then what I do, I start wind it, and first I check the ball for the knots, because when we use this self pattern yarn, sometimes sections after, if you have knot, section can not be the same, and then you will not have the absolutely the identical socks. And as you see, I love my socks be the same. And then I just wind it, and my ball, I take the yarn from inside and start wind it, and I just weight my ball. When it's come like 50 grams, I just cut and wind the rest, and that's why I have two balls, and then I start them from the same section. I just unwind a little bit and see the section and which order they are going, and then I just start a second sock from the same section, because it doesn't look very nice when they are not matching. And another thing which I wanted to say, why I have two pairs of needle, because sometimes my tension is different and my socks become slightly different if I do one sock and then another sock. Then what I like to do, I divide, especially these ones with a pattern, because if it's plain color, I just go one sock, another sock, it doesn't make any difference. And sometimes I can do it now. I just make one sock and I put it on my lap, and when I need another, I always like put them together to see if my sections going at the same. But if you don't have enough experience and your tension is not very regular yet, just get two pairs of needles, because I don't recommend you to do two socks on a one magic loop, because it's a confusion, and I particularly never do this because it's just get on my nerves. And what I do, I just make two socks at the same time on two different balls and two different pairs of needles, and then you do calf on one, calf on second, you do leg on one, leg on second, and then first you go with two socks at the same time, and then it's very difficult for you to make them differently, because you will always check in if section matches, and you will have better result for this. And that's all what I wanted to say about the rules. And now we can go to next video where I show you just little details about my favorite heel and how I made one of these lovely pairs of socks. Then if you find it video useful, just let me know, just pop some comment. Don't forget to like if you like it, and subscribe, and let's see what we do together next. Thank you very much. Happy knitting, and see you.